Hello everyone, my name's Raf, I'm an addict. Yeah, God bless Prince, yeah. Right, I'd like to state that the opinions expressed by the speakers are that of the individuals and not necessarily representative of CA as a whole. And now I'd like to introduce Javina, who's been invited to share on a friend called Jim. Over to you, Javina.
These microphones. My name's Javina, I'm a recovered addict. It's really great to be here, seeing some familiar faces and also some people that I don't know, which is really amazing. I'm just going to read something. This got sent to me by someone that's been a part of my recovery, even when I haven't known he's been a part, and he knows a lot about history. So I got a bit nervous around what I'm going to write. This guy called Jim, I relate to his experience in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'm not going to proclaim that I know any history, a lot of history about this AA thing. And I was going to research on that and come up here and say to you, yeah, Jim is this, that, the other, and his other name is this. When I did that, I found out that there was a Jim and he was black, and I thought that was great. He was from the hood and that, so that's going to be amazing for me to share about. But it was the wrong bloody Jim. So I just scrapped that idea. But I'm just going to, I think it's important as well, with what I hear around the fellowship as this battling thing around threefold and twofold and stuff. But I just want to give you a little insight about their times and what they were going through and experience. So this was a few years before, and it says, today brings to a close the most difficult and dismal year in my business experience. The outlook for 1933 is not much better. 30,000 people in Youngstown town are being supported by charities. Steel mills operate 30%. Begging and hold-ups and murder are frequent. Bankruptcy, foreclosures are no longer a disgrace. In 146 cities of the United States, money is being used or bartered. Exchanges have been set up to exchange services for merchandise. I think that just says they're having a pretty shitty time, man. And yes, we are too. So I think from my experience and stuff is, there's no kind of making sense of this and that. Everyone's experience of how they've been brought up, what they've been living like, what's going on in their cities and their towns and that are going to be very different and varied. So that's a difference. I'm really different from you in that instinct. My color's different. Some of you are guys and I'm a woman. I am a woman, actually. I'm just letting you know that, yeah? And that wouldn't even matter anyway if I wasn't. Do you see what I'm saying? But the one thing that I know that binds me and my fellows is that this utter inability to leave drugs or alcohol alone. That is it. Because if I can leave it alone, which sometimes it seems like I can, with sufficient reasoning, like my mum having a baby, falling in love, ill health, having trauma from bad experiences, I should be able to say no more, and it's done when I say it's done. But, sometimes, on a certain time, that doesn't happen for me. The addict like me does not do that. It just keeps happening. And I don't know why, but I'll try and make sense of it. So the first thing in Jim's story that I wanted to share is there's a statement here that says, on leaving the asylum, that's like our treatment centers, my asylums were crack dens, so he came in contact with us. That means there was people that had this experience and stayed around to be able to meet this guy, Jim, and share their experience with them. And that was my experience, So I started using and drinking because I just wanted to feel better, in the sense of not that I had anything pressing going on, but I was happy and I wanted to be happier. I liked the effects produced by smiley faces. They were my things. And, at times I could, in the beginning, control it and manage it pretty well. Do you see what I'm saying? I could stop and start when I wanted to. I don't think in the beginning I'd lost the power of choice right there. But something happened first. I started to lose control. The amounts became more, and yes, the consequences were small at first. It was not turning up to work for a couple of days. Bloody hell, man, I've lost two days' work, sleeping in all day, mum being a bit irritated that I ain't tidied up the house. But this changed. And did I see it changing? Yeah, I did. I did see me losing control. I did see the amounts increasing. And that's not going to be everyone's experience. And it doesn't matter about the amounts. But there was change happening. So I'm going to give you a bit of Jim, and I hope everyone's read Jim's story. But if you haven't, it's okay. I have got a big book, and there's some people that have got one today, I hope. So yeah, I had an experience after using which really related to Jim. And we all know Jim put the whiskey in the milk. I hear that wasn't really different in them times. That's what people kind of did. I don't know why, but yeah, that's what they did. But mine was after a really bad spree in crack dens, smoking crack, and taking him dizzle and absolutely doing some things that some of us men and women, but I'm talking from a women's point of view, I would say it's what you do when you're high, yeah? But I done some of them things, and my honesty around that is because I needed more drugs. That was what I did in pursuit of my high. And I came out of there and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this, man. I'm seeing all my friends progress. They started off like me, but they said, no, I want the job, I want the partner, I want a life, and they managed to do it. So I was like, do you know what, I'm going to be like them. I'm done. This is absolutely embarrassing. I'm in a lot of pain. Things are happening in these places that I come away feeling broken. My heart's ripped apart. The shame, the misery, the come downs are bloody horrendous on them dizzle as well. Trust me. Everyone's nodding. I see someone nodding at the back. They're bloody awful. A little bit of ketamine. It's a horse tranquilizer. Don't know why I'm taking it because I ain't a horse. Are you saying I'm a horse, James? Okay, cool. So I'm thinking to myself, well, this is a bright idea, it's good, I'm not doing it. So, yeah, man, I wake up at my nan's, and if you know West Indian families and that, you're smelling the food, rice and peas and chicken and stuff on a Sunday, and you're like, ugh, yeah, because that's what Dizzle does. But after a period of time, and it was about 3 days, the come down passed. I had enough MAC makeup left to present myself well in Stratford, East London. And if you know Stratford, you don't want to be walking around there looking all fucked. So, yeah, I presented myself quite well. And I said to my nan and that, do you know what, Nan, I've been a bit of an arse, yeah? I pulled myself together and I'm going to do well and make you proud. And she was like, yeah, man, you just got to cut that drinking. She used to call it sporting. Stop sparting, man, yeah? And I'm like, I'm not throwing no javelins now and I'm drinking. So I went out and I phoned an old work colleague and said, look, have you got any jobs at Next still? Like, I want to sort my life out. And they were like, come round, come into town, let's have some food and talk. So I took the 25 bus into Stratford, yeah, seeing some other people hanging on the streets, and I was like, fucking hell, man, I ain't like that. So glad that I've made this decision. And I went to this little chain pub called the Weatherspoons, because that's all I could afford. But I was hoping that the person I'm meeting is going to pay for it, definitely. But it's 2 meals for 10 or 2 meals for 8 or something like that, and a free drink when you buy them. So anyway, had enough money. I went to the bar to order my food and a pint of Pepsi. And it was a steak and chips. Everyone likes steak and chips, I'm hoping. And sat down and, like waiting for this person. And I'm just like, I'm going to have my food. I'm going to have this pint of Pepsi. And there was no thought. Nothing. Now, did I feel a bit irritated that I'm looking at everyone drinking pints and knowing that they're having a bit of a sneaky little line in the toilet? Maybe. But it wasn't that serious. Yeah, it wasn't serious. And I sat down. Food came, started eating pint of Pepsi. Suddenly, the thought crossed my mind that if I go and order a gram of Dizzle, yeah, MD, yeah, right, Mandy, put that in the Pepsi and eat my steak at the same time, it's going to be fucking different. Yeah. I kind of sensed, though, that the last time I had Dizzle, I was in a crack den sleeping with about 20 guys and that. Oh, and some females, too. So I ordered the gram. When that came, I put it in the Pepsi and I drank it so casually. Thought, fucking hell, that's all right, eating the steak. Nothing happening there. Steak ain't looking like a cow now. Moo. But thought, God, could do this again. So I ordered another one. And another one. That took me back into the crack den. I was missing for 3 months. Within that 3 months in the crack den, I've experienced some things, rape, violence, and even when I've waken up and aroused out of this smoking crack situation, I'm looking around thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get out? Someone puts the crack back on the thing and says to me, do you want some? Oh, of course I do. You see, at first I used to think to myself, do you know what? This is because my dad's an addict. He was an addict. He was in recovery. He died in recovery. He didn't die from overdose. He died from cancer. Just want to say that now. But, I had a funny little life. My mum's a Bobby, policewoman. Bloody hell. Crack dad, policewoman mum. Really weird. But I thought that this stuff was something to do with it. Or I thought that the consequences were reasons for me using. And yes, they seem very, very plausible at the time. But when I reflect and look back on that, it don't make sense. Because I've just sworn off and had the experience that absolutely made me feel worthless, in despair, shame. So even after that, at that moment, I wasn't feeling like that. I was feeling in high hopes. At the given moment when I was sitting down and went into that Weatherspoon, I had high hopes. I was like, do you know what, man? My life can be just like that girl Jane, mate. And even if that was the case, it wouldn't make sense to take the thing that's going to send me back to the place that's causing me pain and misery. And that's what I started hearing in Cocaine Anonymous. So we look at the reasons for why am I doing this? Is it because the day's looking gloomy? Is it because my boyfriend told me he's not going to buy me Louis Vuittons? Is it because, James is looking at his notes while I'm talking? I don't know. Yeah. How could the reasons for not? So my reasons for not, here's my reasons for good day, bad day, mum irritating me, rape, violence, boyfriends cheating, girlfriends cheating. I don't know, yeah, saying plausible. Let's look at my list for not, yeah, for not, more rape, yeah. Dad was an addict and he was really bad. I'm seeing people on the streets homeless, sex trafficking, domestic violence relationships, worthless, not washing my body for 5 days or more, not brushing my teeth for 5 days or more, haven't got clean underwear, socks are just horrendous, yeah. MAC makeup has run out. That's a big problem for me. Yeah. And all the stuff that it does to my family. So there's an added list of about 6 other people. How can them reasons get pushed aside so easily? For the trivial reason that if I put Mandy in Pepsi and eat a steak, it's going to be different. It just doesn't make sense to me. I hope it doesn't make sense to you guys. Because in that moment, I could see that I don't have an effective mental defense against the first drink, no matter what it is, drugs, cocaine, weed, whatever. With that, have I tried these things to stop it? Yes. I've tried moving to Turkey. Doesn't work. It's not Turkey. It's just the fact that I don't have an effective mental defense. Have I tried to leave different partners? Yes. Have I swapped boyfriend to girlfriend? Yes. Have I stayed away from my mum thinking she's the problem? It's because she's a bobby? Yes. For previous times, this seems like it's working because I'm not smoking crack or taking any drugs. But in that, I believe that I have power to stop this from happening. And I get told or get shown by the experience of a twist in my mind and no defense, no willpower, sound reasoning's gone. Memories just eradicated of the consequences. And now I smoke crack again. So I saw that there was nothing I can do to stop this. Absolutely nothing with my own resources. Yeah. Scary. Even now I breathe deeply like, wow. Yeah. I'm disturbed around that question, is that I'm going to do this again. And I can't do nothing about it. But with that, it opened me and created a path to go on a process like Jim, live spiritually and build a relationship with something beyond myself. And I mean totally beyond. I can't even explain it. There's something else that came from this. Life changed. My life went considerably great in the beginning. I was having nightmares and eating out rubbish bins for about 3 months. There's people in there that would sit on the floor, one next to me, that I would be like, is this what recovery is about, man? It's painful. But it was still joyous. Joyous in the sense of what we're doing now, sitting together. I loved reading that book, man. I saw some people that were chatting in coffee shops, and I had my little small book like that, and being like, have you seen this? And at first I thought they're just not in the book, but they've gone past that in recovery probably. They were like, yes, Javina. I had people that didn't just come and bang this book in my face. Yeah, they loved me and cared for me when I came in. It was gentle, but they were talking something. And I've never been in fellowship meetings. I think I did go in one in East London, a different fellowship, but we ended up all in the house smoking crack after, so maybe that's not a good thing to share, I don't know. Yeah, man, there was something that I saw and then I stuck around and that. I stepped aside and allowed a process to just happen. I couldn't force that process, I wasn't going, yes, I'm definitely going to work with others. I was just hoping that I don't smoke crack anymore. If I'm honest, that's what I wanted. I don't want to smoke crack ever again. I don't want to be in that den ever again. I don't want my mum to be sitting up at night and having 5 alarms on her phone and thinking, that missed call, she's in a gutter. But I knew in my heart as well that my experience shows me looking back that I will do this again and I can't do nothing about it. Then something happened to me, man. Something happened to me in service. I looked around and saw that there was only a couple of us women in this meeting. I thought, wow, man, imagine if that lady got recovery and walked out and said, thank you very much, mate. I've put my 7th tradition in, got a great life, see you later. I don't know what I would have done. And then there was people before that stayed there for her to be there. And people before them that stayed there for her to be there. So if you look at the start of this AA thing, yeah, there's a beautiful bit that I'm going to end on because I know I can take up a lot of time. I like talking. I really do. A vision for you in 159. So it says, all this time, our friend of the hotel lobby incident remained in that town. He was there 3 months. He now returned home, leaving behind his first acquaintance, the lawyer and the devil-may-care chap. These men had found something brand new in life. Though they knew they must help other alcoholics if they would remain sober, that motive became secondary. It was transcended by the happiness they found in giving themselves for others. They shared their homes, their slender resources, and gladly devoted their spare hours to fellow sufferers. They were willing, by day or night, to place a new man in the hospital and visit him afterward. They grew in numbers. They experienced a few distressing failures. But in those cases, they made an effort to bring the man's family into a spiritual way of life, an effort of living, thus relieving much worry and suffering. A year and 6 months later, these 3 had succeeded with 7 more. Seeing much of each other, scarce an even past that someone's home did not shelter a little gathering of men and women. Happy in their release and constantly thinking how they might present their discovery to some newcomer. And I thank you, Sheffield, for doing exactly that today. I'll leave it there.